Hi, welcome to History Talk, and I am Tao. I will be your host today. We will be taking a closer look on Watergate scandal. I have 4 guests here today who are involved in the scandal: James McCord, Mark Felt, Bob Woodward, and the President, Mr. Nixon. Our first guest is James McCord. He is the lead burglar in the Watergate scandal. Why did you break into the Democratic campaign offices?
I wanted to gain insight on Nixon's enemies and see what I can discover about the anti-war activists. I just wanted Nixon reelected.
How did you get caught?
Well, it kind of started with a piece of tape. It was visible and removed once, but I put it back on and to hold the door open. The security guard on duty saw it again and then called the police due to suspicious activity.
Wow, how did they link the White House to this break-in?
Well, they found a significant phone number in my notebook. It was to a former White House employee. This link sparked the investigation that led to the unraveling of the Watergate scandal.
Wow, thank you so much. And our next guest will be Mark Felt. Come on in.
Hello.
Hi. So, how long did it take for people to identify you were the one leaking the information?
Well, I was revealed 31 years after Nixon's resignation and 11 years after. So Nixon's death, I was revealed to be former Federal Bureau of Investigation Associate Director Mark Felt.
How were you revealed?
My identity remained exclusive for 30 years. There were suspicions that I was indeed the reporter exclusive source long before the public acknowledgement in 2005. Finally, when I was 91 years old, Vanity Fair magazine reported that I was Deep Throat.
Why did it take them so long to figure out that you were Deep Throat?
Well, part of the reason historians and other scholars had so much difficulty in identifying the real Deep Throat is because no single person seemed to truly fit the characteristics described in all the president's men. This had caused some scholars and commentators to come to the council that Deep Throat could not possibly just be one single person and must be a composite of several sources.
I see. Well, we are glad you are here with us today to clear things up, and thank you so much for sharing your side of the story. And quickly, let's bring in Bob Woodward.
Hello.
Hi. So how did you get involved in this scandal?
Well, I worked for Washington Post since 1971 as a reporter alongside my co-reporter Carl Bernstein. We got a call one day to investigate the scandal, and I managed to get information from Mark Felt.
I see. Well, your work was greatly acknowledged, and thank you for keeping us informed.
Awesome.
So here I have the president himself, Mr. Nixon. So, what were your final days like in office?
My last days in office came in late July and early August 1974. The House committee voted to accept 3 of 4 proposed articles of impeachment, with some Republicans voting with Democrats to recommend impeachment for me. The final blow came with the decisions by the Supreme Court to order me to release more White House tapes. One of these became known as the smoking gun tape when it revealed that I had participated in the Watergate cover-up as far back as June 23, 1972. Around the country, there were calls for me to resign. At 9 p.m. the evening of August 8, 1974, I delivered a nationally televised recognition speech. The next morning, I made my final remarks to the White House staff before sending my resignation letter to the Secretary of State, Dr. Henry Kissinger. I was truly disappointed in myself and very embarrassed for my mistakes.
Wow. Thank you for agreeing to talk about it. I know this isn't easy thing to talk about, and we appreciate your honesty. Now, before we go, Mr. Woodward has brought us a clip relating to the Watergate scandal. Let's take a look.
Nixon assistant Alexander Butterfield explosively revealed the existence of Nixon-installed recording devices throughout the White House. Those tapes were subpoenaed. However, Nixon refused to release them, citing executive privilege.
This principle of confidentiality of presidential conversations is at stake in the question of these tapes. I must and I shall oppose any efforts to destroy this principle, which is so vital to the conduct of this great office.
To save himself, Nixon dismissed the Attorney General, his deputy, and Cox in the Saturday Night Massacre. Public outcry followed, and Nixon responded with one of his most quoted speeches in November '73.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.